The Chair recognizes Ranking Member Congresswoman Velasquez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it's my pleasure to introduce Craig Fabian. He's the Vice President of Regulatory Affairs and Assistant General Counsel for the Aeronautical Repair Station Association. He's also a practicing aviation attorney and has over 20 years of experience in the aviation industry. He began his career as an aircraft mechanic technician with Northwest Airlines, worked as a maintenance controller for U.S. Airways, and is the former Director of Technical Operation for the Air Transport Association. Welcome.
Thank you, Ranking Member Velasquez and members of the committee. Thank you for the invitation to testify this afternoon. For those of you not familiar with the Aeronautical Repair Association, known as ARSA, it's the premier association for the international aviation maintenance industry. ARSA certificated repair station members facilitate the safe operation of aircraft worldwide. From an economic perspective, the aviation maintenance industry generates over $39.1 billion of economic activity in the United States and employs more than 274,000 workers in all 50 states. A snapshot of our economic and employment footprint is attached to my written testimony. On a global scale, North America is a net exporter of aviation maintenance services, enjoying a $2.4 billion positive balance of trade. Although ARSA members represent a wide cross-section of the aviation industry, the vast majority of these companies are small businesses. As a result, the protections afforded by the Regulatory Flexibility Act, which I will refer to as the RFA, are particularly meaningful to our members. Today, I will discuss ARSA's experience in challenging an agency rule under the RFA. That experience began with a decision by the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, to dramatically expand the scope of its drug and alcohol testing requirements. The changed rule impacted many traditional small businesses that certificated repair stations rely on for ancillary services, such as welding shops, metal finishers, and machine shops. Those small businesses were faced with a difficult choice: either implement a full-blown FAA drug and alcohol testing program or simply stop serving repair station customers. ARSA challenged the rule in court, and in 2007, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit found that the FAA had violated the RFA when it decided that a full analysis was unnecessary. The FAA was then instructed to perform an analysis to comply with the RFA. Despite the court's mandate, over 3 years passed and the FAA made no effort to perform the required analysis. As a result, on February 17th of this year, ARSA filed a petition for writ of mandamus with the same court to compel the FAA's compliance. Several weeks later, the FAA was ordered to show cause and explain why ARSA's petition should not be granted. As a basis for its response to the court, the FAA posted what it characterized as a supplemental regulatory flexibility determination, restating its conclusion that a full and complete RFA analysis is not required. To put it briefly, despite the passage of time, over 5 years since the final rule became effective and over 3 years since the court's mandate, the issue is far from over. ARSA's experience in dealing with federal agencies reveals that the RFA is treated as an annoying burden to the rulemaking process. The agency's objective seems to be finding a way to avoid engaging in the difficult task of compiling the economic data and considering alternatives to a proposed rule. Indeed, even when specifically commanded by a court of law to carry out an analysis, federal agencies are prone to engage in foot-dragging with the apparent hope that the requirement will just go away. We believe the following suggestions will help. Congress should allow small businesses and nonprofit associations that successfully mount RFA challenges to recover court costs and legal fees. The RFA could be amended to require that agencies assess direct and indirect costs for small businesses. The RFA could be amended to prevent agencies from reversing determinations made during its threshold analysis as to what entities are affected by a proposed rule. Congress could ensure that any legislation it passes contains language, either in the bill itself or in legislative history, clearly stating that it does not intend the law to have adverse effects on small businesses. Congress could empower the Small Business Administration's Office of Advocacy to make small business determinations for agencies. Congress could also refrain from setting strict timelines that agencies must meet to complete the rulemaking process. Small businesses are a critical part of the aviation industry and the U.S. economy. When it enacted the RFA, Congress created an important mechanism to protect small businesses from unnecessarily restrictive and intrusive federal regulations. However, the small businesses in your districts will only benefit from the protections of the RFA if federal agencies obey the law. Thank you for your time for holding this hearing, and for inviting ARSA to be part of it. I'd be happy to answer any questions.